You are watching Influence Media, PSI TV, the Netflix of biz brands.
What is an entrepreneur influencer? Have you ever heard of that before? And what is the difference between an entrepreneur influencer and a social media influencer? Who is more influential? And why should you become an entrepreneur influencer? These and more are going to be covered today. Let's go. Trudy Verman here. And let's talk about this because I am working to become an entrepreneur influencer, and I have used social media influencers in my business. I truly believe I have something to contribute to this conversation. Plus, I am studying this at the graduate level. This is the focus of my graduate level research on influential reach. So I believe I have something to contribute to this conversation. We're going to be looking at what exactly a social media influencer is, what an entrepreneur influencer is, using social media influencers to build influential reach for a brand, why you should become an entrepreneur influencer, and how PSI TV contributes to you becoming an entrepreneur influencer. This is a weekly show that we put on every Monday at 10:30 a.m. Eastern. Thank you for joining me live or later. Please comment below, say hello. Let's go. Here is Charli D'Amelio, and she is promoting the Dunkin' Donuts brand. This is why a lot of Gen Zs today want to become social media influencers. They will just get compensated by brands to represent that brand in some capacity. Now, this is a peer-reviewed research. Peer-reviewed simply means that the researcher, before it got published, the research was vetted by others in their peer or industry. So this research was on a social network approach to social media influences on Instagram, the strengths of being a nano influencer. Now, the nano influencer is defined as anyone with fewer than 10,000 followers. Is that you? Well, are you maybe a micro influencer? Micro influencer has between 10 to 100,000 followers. Then we have 100,000 plus is a macro influencer, but the mega or celebrity influencer has more than 1 million followers. Which one are you? Comment below and let me know. Do you fall under nano influencer, micro influencer, or which one? Now, this is Megan, and she is a social media influencer, one of whom I use to help promote the PSI TV brand. So I have used social media influencers to help bring awareness to the existence of PSI TV, especially to the younger audience. So using the analytics around my business, I've come to realize from all the platforms that the people who are following me are in the 35 plus age group. So Megan was under 35. So that was one of the reasons why I chose her to help me reach a younger audience. Reginald Paz is another social media influencer for the same reason I used him. Now, here is another peer-reviewed research, also quite recent. Entrepreneurial influencers and influential entrepreneurs, two sides of the same coin. I didn't make this up, guys. The entrepreneur influencer exists. It's a thing. The entrepreneurial influencer, the entrepreneurial influencer refers to the traditional entrepreneur who becomes an influencer. So what happens is you have the influencer who becomes an entrepreneur, and then you have the entrepreneur who becomes an influencer. To the outsider, they may appear to be one and the same, but they really are very different. In this same research, another excerpt from it, the social media influencer promotes other people's products, as we've seen before, but the entrepreneur influencer, the number of followers they acquire transforms them into a social media influencer, but they conduct influencer marketing activities only for their own business. So this is the difference. The entrepreneur who becomes an influencer does so to promote their business. This is where Kim Kardashian really becomes a person of interest in this conversation, because she started out as a social media influencer and she has become an entrepreneurial influencer. So she has her own brand, actual products that she sells, Skims, KKW Fragrance, KKW Beauty. So she has her own entrepreneurial adventure, And her influencer status helps to just launch these into the stratosphere of success, like right off the bat. As a social media influencer, Kim has promoted other products in the past. And as an entrepreneurial influencer today, she is doing brand collaborations as she's doing with the WNBA. And if you remember in the earlier research I showed you, a nano influencer has fewer than 10,000 followers. Okay, fewer than 10,000 followers. And the strength of the nano influencer is that as a result of brand preference for partnering with a smaller scale influencer due to their trust with their audience. What the rest of this research is going on to show is that the bigger the influencer, especially because they're promoting all these various brands, the bigger that they get, the less they are in touch with their audience. There's less engagement with the audience. So a lot of nano influencers, if you have fewer than 10,000 followers, but you have great interaction, great engagement with your followers, you can actually be paid to promote other people's brands. So don't worry about the fact that you don't have those celebrity numbers. As a nano influencer, research is showing that there are brands that prefer partnering with the nano influencer because of the trust their audience has with the smaller influencer. Now, faceless brands are becoming, they always existed, and there are some marketers who are promoting faceless brands these days. We know some very popular ones like Adidas, Visa, American Airlines. They, however, do use a lot of celebrity endorsements because at the end of the day, brands without faces will just not have the same grab. So faceless brands, you may not know who the CEO is of that company, but they still will use celebrity endorsements. So they understand the value of putting a face to the brand, even if it is not their face. That's why social media influencers are rising. And sometimes there are companies who prefer to use social media influencers rather than traditional advertising because a face to the brand is always very powerful. Sprout Social is a huge marketing company. They did some research and it showed that 70% of consumers feel more connected to brands with CEOs that are active on social. As a graduate level student who's doing research myself, this kind of data is valuable to me because it points out how important it is for you to see me. So although PSI TV is its own brand and I'm building up the brand of PSI TV, I am the face of PSI TV. And it is shown through data that consumers feel more connected to the brand when there is a CEO that is active on social. That's the same thing with my husband's business. He has verbally surveyed his clients. Many of them don't even know the name of his business. They know him. They were referred to his name. They call him on the phone. And they may have heard his company's name, but they have no clue. They know my husband, they know Dennis Berman, and they called in. That is the thing that is happening. Now, eventually, the brand will become its own entity. Entrepreneur Magazine shows us that when it comes to the face of the brand, Elon Musk has 59.9 million Twitter followers, whereas the Tesla brand only has 10.9 million followers. And it demonstrates that the public is often more interested in the person behind the brand rather than the brand itself. Here is the reason why you want to become an entrepreneur influencer, because such a person can directly influence the success of the brand. Such a person can directly influence the success of the brand, just as Kim Kardashian, her influential status as a person has directly influenced the success of the Skims and the KKW brands. So here I am, the face of PSI TV. And according to YouTube, when it comes to the search term influential reach, PSI TV is a top channel for this search term. Now, remember Megan and Raz that I told you about? So they are micro influencers. So they have between 10 and 100,000 followers. At this, no, they have more now, but this was at the time when I used them. So 50.3K followers for Megan and 93K followers for Reginald. He will soon trip over when he goes past 100,000. He will go into the mega. Right now, he's micro. So you have nano under 10,000, micro 10 to 100,000, and then macro, which is over 100,000, and then you get to the celebrity status when you have over 1 million. But I'm not doing too bad. I'm in the micro level as well, because I have more than 10,000 followers on Instagram, and I have 30,000 followers on Facebook. And yes, I have only 2.3 thousand subscribers on YouTube, but my views are going up, and I am definitely building my brand and subscriber count over at YouTube. Ideally, you grow on one platform and then you can focus on the other. So once I got to 30,000 on Facebook, I started putting a little bit more effort on YouTube. Again, guys, the goal is to become an influencer as an entrepreneur myself. Now, social media influencer versus entrepreneurial influencer, which is more influential? It depends. It depends, because initially, some of you may have zero influence, and it may suit you to use a social media influencer to bring awareness to your brand. And that is going to be more influential at the time. But when you, as an entrepreneur, build your own influence and your influential reach, then it might be that you're more influential because you have that passionate investment in your brand, and you're going to be a much better brand advocate than a hired social media influencer. But both can be very influential. So this is not a knockoff, like one is better than the other. Both are actually very influential, and both have value. So even though Adidas and American Airlines and Nike are all already powerful brands, you'll see that they continue to use influencers and celebrity faces, because you have to stay top of mind. This is a continuously growing market, and if you don't stay on top, somebody will quickly knock you down. You have got to keep doing what you need to do to keep your brand in front of your audience. You really should work to become an entrepreneur influencer. It's going to ultimately be very positive for your brand. Now, this was the thumbnail for today's video. And this beautiful girl right here actually is my daughter-in-law, and she is also a social media influencer. So I just happened to use her picture for the sake of this thumbnail. Again, guys, you want to use both where it's applicable, but you absolutely want to build your brand as an entrepreneur. At the end of the day, if you don't do that, you're just going to be a blur, an indistinguishable blur amongst the many who do what you do. The whole purpose of this channel and what we do over here at PSI TV, we realize we're not just in the TV media business, we are in the influential reach business. And so content like this is our contribution to you and your brand elevation advantage. So our goal is to contribute to you becoming more influential, to you having a brand elevation advantage. Matthew 5:14-16 says, "Ye are the light of the world. A city that is set on a hill cannot be hid. Neither do men light a candle and put it under a bushel, but on a candlestick, and it giveth light to all who are in the house. Let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven." You should not be hidden. Your brand should not be hidden. Your solution should not be hidden. You need to get out there and illuminate those who need your solution with the solution that you have. And we're here to contribute to that. Your next step, should you choose to take it. Subscribe to this channel so you don't miss this community contribution that we're making free of cost, so you can build your brand elevation advantage, your influential reach. Subscribe to this channel if you're finding value. The next thing is you may want to consider participating in our upcoming media challenge. Now, we have these from time to time throughout the year. The link that will be here on this page will take you to the wait list. And if you're on the wait list, we'll notify you of the next upcoming ones, and you can decide if it works for your calendar to join us. The media challenge is going to help you appear everywhere, give you what you need to be considered a premium invite to podcasts, stages, TV, and more. Trudy Verman here. I'm super simple to find, and I do look forward to connecting with you.